Terrence Williams legacy game, Cart. Let's talk about it. Michigan loses at the Palestra to Penn State. But Terrence Williams legacy game, Cart. Let's talk about it. What'd you see today?
I can't believe we're diving in the box score before we even address what happened before the game.
What happened?
Oh, you didn't see the nice gesture?
There was a nice gesture?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, so like Michigan's been struggling late, right?
I honestly, I haven't noticed, but
Okay, so like they're coming off a tough home loss to Minnesota.
actually,
Uh
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I really truly don't know any of this. Could you just fill me up to speed on the last 2 months of Michigan basketball? What's been going on?
so ever since you guys beat St. John's and MSG, your season has been hell. Your season's been hell.
We beat St. John's at MSG?
You beat St. John's and MSG with a legendary Doug McDaniel game. And since then, what has ensued is a home loss to McNeese State, a home loss to Long Beach State, a home loss to Indiana, a home loss to Minnesota, and the ineligibility of your point guard, Doug McDaniel, coming up, and your
Wait, wait,
coach
wait,
getting
wait.
it, and your coach getting in an altercation with your strength coach. And now you just lost this game against Penn State.
We lost to Indiana?
You lost to Indiana.
Oh.
Yeah, you did. But no, but they tried something different. They instead of zigging today, they zagged. And because you played in Pennsylvania, they did a little something special. Juwan let Martelli be the head coach today.
All right, that was really fun to pretend I've been in a coma for that's the most fun I've had with Michigan basketball this season. Okay. All right. Yeah, you want to do the whole that thing? Should we do that thing? Should
Bro,
we jump right in that thing?
we gotta jump right in this. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. I don't care if Michigan was undefeated. Paint's not doing this. Like good coaches are not just giving the reins to their assistant coach because they're from an area. Like, what is this? What is this? I haven't seen anything like this in basketball since I used to work summer camps up at Albion College. And some of my old high school coaches would come play up there and be like, hey, you just want to coach our JV for one game since we're at Albion and we're up here? Why don't you go ahead and give it a go? See what you can do. I can't believe in a real basketball game, a real Big Ten game, when your team is 6-9 and 1-3 in the Big Ten and the sky is falling. You're just like, hey, Phil, you just want to be the coach today? I'm good. I'm good on this. Like, what are we actually doing here? Like, is it not embarrassing? Am I overreacting?
No, it's embarrassing. I feel like I've come on so many of these videos in a row recently and just lit him on fire, and I'm honestly running out of ways to keep doing that, and I'm gonna need a lot more ways before the season ends. So I'm trying to take a different approach and just kind of laugh at this. But no, my feelings. You want my personal feelings on this move, Cart? Do you want my feelings?
Please.
My feelings are this. It's completely unserious. This is an unserious basketball program led by an unserious head coach. Been that way for years. Honestly, looking back, pretty miraculous that they had the results they had, given how unserious their basketball coach is. There have been signs of his level of unseriousness long before this, by the way. Like, I know people like to paint the thing, or it's not even painting, it's technically true. But like the narrative about Juwan's altercations has become he has an anger problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
My larger issue with the Krabenhoff thing than the anger problem, which also absolutely exists, but my larger issue was it was such a sign of a coach who doesn't realize he's a head coach. Like, your team is fighting for an NCAA tournament bid with a month left in their season, and you put yourself in a spot to be taken away from them. He did that years ago. And that, people forget about that element of it because they ended up making the tournament because they won games without Juwan and looked good in the tournament because they got a good draw where they got to play Rick Barnes. And all people remember about that now is, oh, Juwan has anger management issues. The reality was like he just doesn't have any sense of I'm the head coach and that matters. Like he's completely unserious. He's an unserious person with an unserious program that he has taken from one of the best in the country to a level of unserious clown show where every single week you don't know what's coming next. Like, oh, tune in next week to Michigan basketball. We'll find out if our star player is eligible or not. Tune in next week to Michigan basketball to see which member of the staff hates Juwan and is leaking stories about him this week. Like, it's just a total joke. The entire thing is laughable. And yeah, in this sense, it's a little thing that I'm sure was pre-planned before the season. They knew they were playing at the Palestra this season. And I'm sure if Michigan was 15-0, we're not talking about this. Instead, there's stories about how cool this is.
Can
But
I push back though? Like, this shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing though.
I understand it shouldn't be a thing, but I do think that if Michigan was winning games, that this becomes a cool story instead of a totally
Okay.
one. It's still ridiculous, and I still hate it. I still hate it. And I obviously hate it given where the program's at. I would hate it if they were 15-0. But what I'm telling you is truthfully, this move would have been made regardless. Like the moment they knew they're playing Penn State at the Palestra this season, they were going to have Phil Martelli do this. It just looks so stupid and is so stupid to do it when your basketball team's 6-9. Like at a certain point, put your pants on and stand up and coach your program. Win a game. Do anything. Get your kids doing well in the classroom. Don't hit people. Like, I come on here and beg every single week, and every single week what I'm begging for gets easier and easier, Cart. Like, right now, I literally just begged Juwan Howard to put his pants on. Like, I don't know that he can even do that right now. I'm terrified of this, man, and I'm terrified of what's coming next. I'm terrified of what's coming next, Cart.
Yeah. So I feel we do this. I feel like we do this every episode. So are we at rock bottom?
I mean, rock bottom's got to be the moment that Doug gets ruled ineligible, I think. And you want a scoop, Cart?
I will love a scoop.
This isn't actually news to report. There are rumblings.
Wait, did the last ditch effort work?
There are rumblings that this isn't 100% done. He's ineligible. There are rumblings, and I hate myself for listening to the rumblings.
I mean, at this point, you got to listen to the rumblings.
With that said, will I be popping champagne if my 6'9" point guard with horrible body language is eligible for the rest of the season? Yes, I will. I will visibly be popping.
What height did you just call him?
We're 6'9" on the season.
Oh, okay.
My 6 and 9 point.
Got you. I thought you said 6'9". I was like, that's not Douglas.
No, we're 6. 6 is the number of wins Michigan basketball has this year, and 9 is the number of losses.
Got you. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. But now that we got through the Palestra, clown show that is.
Sorry, last Doug thing. Despite the rumblings, I want to say this. If I'm going to play the Scoops game, which I haven't played, and I'm not playing, but if I was, I want to go on record team he's ineligible.
Oh, that's a side.
Like if there's a Greg crystal ball here and it's like conflicting reports of like, well, Doug turned in some work late. I want to go on record and say he's going to be ruled ineligible. That's my prediction.
If the team wasn't doing his homework on the way home from this game, then they really don't want it bad enough.
By the way, what type of professor is like this? This has been known about for 2 weeks. What type of professor is just like, yeah, let me get your paper by Sunday, January 7th at midnight? Like, is he eligible or not? Like, you don't get a 2-week extended stay for that.
Maybe they're trying to throw him a little bone.
Can we throw him a bone a week ago before this went public? Like, why is this dragging out?
That's very true. The bone could have been thrown.
I don't get it. All right. I don't know. Is there anything else? Like, Michigan looked great in the first half of this game. We haven't talked basketball at all because that's Juwan Howard. But
yeah, I mean, they had a 10-point lead. Obviously, Terrence Williams having a career game. And they proceeded to, and honestly, not only were they playing well in the first half, like it wasn't a fluke. Like they had 37 points. I think they held Penn State to around 30% from the field. Like Penn State looked like the team that played against Michigan State. Like they couldn't do anything. And Michigan's feeling good. They're feeling good. They're still good even at the start of the second half. And then they proceed to get outscored 52-36 in the second half and give up 79 points and lose by 6 to what I want to make very clear is a bad Penn State team. So right now, as the current Big Ten state, as we look at it, it is basically Maryland and Michigan as the bottom dwellers of the conference. Like every team feels like they can go against. Those are probably the two teams that I think everyone in the conference feels they can go against and get a win
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
this point.
Ain't that convenient that they play this week to find out who the more miserable team is? Michigan plays Maryland in their next game.
Do
So
they is it at Maryland or at home?
I believe it's at Maryland. Yeah.
Huh.
On the road at Maryland Thursday.
That won't be interesting.
You can't wait. Yeah, so I feel like the only way for me to talk about Michigan and actually speak on the basketball at this point and likely for the rest of the season is to go player by player. So I'm just going to do that quickly.
Okay.
Kamwa is Kamwa. He's a good basketball player. He would help a lot of winning teams. I feel really bad for him that he's not on a winning team because I think he contributes pretty much game in and game out to trying to help this team win. Terrence Williams should be applauded for who he has become. The fact that Terrence Williams has become a legitimately great role player on a team this bad is crazy.
Does Sorry, I mean to cut you off. Does he have another year?
Yeah, he has a COVID year.
Okay, well, like he hits the portal and he's probably getting all types of money from like a really, really, really good team to be a role player.
We had this debate in Hoops this week, and I'm on your side. I think, like, honestly, you want a hypothetical landing spot from me?
Where?
I think there's a chance that Kansas gets a second year of Hunter and they call T. Will.
I'm telling you right now, if T Will did enter the portal, his like offer sheet,
Yeah.
be all blue bloods.
It sounds crazy, but also like drop Terrence Williams on this Kansas team right now, this version. He starts for them. Like he would start at, well, maybe not because they have KJ Adams, but he would play crunch time minutes instead of Johnny Furphy on Kansas right
Yeah,
now and
right.
help. So I think, and Hunter still likes the dude. I don't think they had a falling out. So just keep an eye on that. But I think you're right. He's going to have a lot of offers, and I hope he goes somewhere and has a really good season next year. And I applaud him and honestly thank him because he's been like the only bright spot of the season for Michigan. Namari Burnett's. This was a prototypical Namari Burnett game card. Like he did a little bit of everything, but all of it wasn't good enough. 10 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 34 minutes, only 2 for 6 from 3, only 1 turnover. But like he gets beat defensively so much. And he's supposed to be the defensive stopper, and he's just not good enough defensively. He's not.
Yeah.
He needs to be like your 4th best defender, not your 1st. Which honestly applies to his whole game. Like if Namari Burnett was off the bench, he's great for you in that role. If he's your 2nd best perimeter player, you're probably not a good basketball team. Doug, disaster is what I would call it. 11 points, 5 assists to 4 turnovers. He had foul trouble. I think the body language speaks for itself. I'm sorry. I know people don't like when I do body language, but I actually think people are starting to like when I do body language, Cart.
There's people that like ask you, did you see this game? Like, what are you reading on this?
I think there's been a flip because I think this season people realize I'm getting a lot of shit right. And I think people are starting to like it. So with that said, Doug's body language screams, I know I'm ineligible. And I think that's going to happen. He was not here. He was not present in this game, just like he wasn't in much of the Minnesota game. And then Terrace Reed is bad. Terrace Reed is just bad. He's not good. I think from a player perspective, the biggest indictment I have of the staff this year is that they haven't turned Terrace Reed into a playable center. And I still think he should be. And I think Juwan Howard has been good with big men historically, but he's not right now. So that's everything. We don't even have to go to the bench. Yo-Yo got 4 minutes, got fouled on a 3, made 1 of 3 free throws. So yay.
Yo.
Yo-Yo. I don't know, man. I don't know. Llewellyn.
I mean,
Llewellyn put up Malik Hall numbers tonight.
You said what?
Llewellyn put up Malik Hall numbers tonight.
Did he? Oh, yeah, he did. Except
Yeah.
he didn't play 25 minutes like Malik Hall. But they just gotta like put this program in Rice, man. It's time. Like a complete start over. I think there's gonna be a complete overhaul because players are gonna leave once, at the end of this year, regardless of what happens. I think there's gonna be a max exodus. I think the Juwan era is over, man. It's over. Like they can let it go for this year, but like everyone on the team is checked out. They are. It's pretty evident by the way they play basketball. and don't really blame them, to be honest, because it's a shit show. So, do they contribute to that shit show with some of their play sometimes? They definitely have, but it's hard to play in a toxic environment. But like, there's no more dialogue needed to be said. I'm not like attacking Juwan as a person or anything. I'm just saying it's over. Like, this is it. They need to end it.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to though. But you're right.
How do you not?
I don't think they care.
Are you ready for a rebuild?
Yeah. Yes. Please.
Like,
Yep.
are you ready for are you ready for a nice fun rebuild?
I thought that's what this year was supposed to be. So maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm ready for any coach to come in and like just choose to head coach every game to start. Like, is that too much to ask, Cart? Whoever we
They
hire
they
is
bring in
the
they bring in the person on the interview and like, all right, for starters, are you willing to coach every single game?
man, so stupid. Like, oh my God. Does he think nobody watches? Like,
Maybe. He thinks he just get away with it.
I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. All right. Can we at least try Sadi next? Like, there's other guys I'd want to try if we're gonna go the whole like you get to head coach route, you know?
Well, yeah, where's Saudi from? You got to wait till he play in his hometown. Maybe he's from Maryland. Maybe you'll get him next week.
Should go play like Ann Arbor Pioneer and let John Sanderson coach and see how that goes. All right. Shit. God.